Hey guys, Palsteron here. Quickie video here about the latest GGG post. I haven't really made a rant video about PoE2 because honestly I've been just kind of occupied fixing everybody's league start, at least the people who wanted to start with me. I've had an absolutely gruesome day one, probably the worst experience I've ever had in an aRPG before. Even worse than that was the feeling of, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, if other people feel like this as well. And over time, I've kind of resolved that and just kind of like kept leveling, and the game started getting easier and easier. They've brought in hot fixes, and now we're all of a sudden kind of back in like a middling region when it comes to fun for me. But today, they have released a statement about what they're working on, basically going a little bit over the critique they've gotten so far. Now, just to summarize a few of the issues, we have the early campaign getting a crazy enemy HP buff, not just rares, also other kinds of monsters. I have done pre-runs before the league started, so as much as people want it on day one anyways, to kind of gaslight me into thinking I'm just out of touch with PoE2, I don't know what's going on. Yes, there has been a lot of adjustments and nerfs that were not, and buffs to enemy monster HP that were not in the patch notes, which is now also clear with their new post, at least implying that. And yeah, so you're not crazy if you felt that as well. So yeah, early game HP sponges, the bosses took forever, and GGG just does not understand that the bosses are actually like quite easy. It's like they are literally just HP sponges. The problem are other things, like for example the rares, right, which all of a sudden had new modifiers that they added. And yeah, for some reason we had region rares where you had to reset the instance every single time when you face them because you literally cannot kill them. And remember, you cannot outrun a rare because every mob in this game is faster than you. Not every mob, as you will see with the next spawn, which is specters, which are completely all over the place. Some of them are completely unusable, which I guess you could say is kind of like par for the course. It's kind of like, all right, so some are duds, you have to find which one's good. But minions in general doing no damage, dying. I personally haven't played them, but I've watched quite a few videos of other people's kind of talking through their struggles. We have the stun and ailment threshold reworks, which basically made it so that at least early game, everything is jumping at you and everything's stunning you. It feels like absolute dog shit. And then you want to roll away and you remember, oh, the dodge roll is only as fast as you. It gives you a little bit of a head at the start, but the monsters are still running at you, so it's exactly the same as if you ran away. So it's this weird dynamic where you have no agency over your character, and now you even less have agency over your character until you start one-shotting mobs, and then all this meaningful combat is out of the window again. What else did you have? You had frenzy charge problems early on with Huntress. Parry is an absolute shit show, and like we're gonna go over it. Then we have a few other things, like for example the ritual printing that is currently happening with the unique tablet. Freedom of faith, that's what it's called, exactly. So people literally on stream right now are infinitely re-rolling their options over and over and over and over, fishing for mirrors on stream as well, without fear of repercussions, because remember, last league Temporalis got duped and literally nobody got banned for it. All the people are basically still there. Let's just say that right now. All of them, like basically nobody got banned. So we have that happening as well. And we had some absolutely game-breaking stuff, like for example a miracle where the whole Chayula monk dynamic doesn't work because his energy shield leech stops whenever his mana goes full, so he cannot leech. So there's stuff where they just clearly haven't played the game and have made very hasty decisions as well. And I could be going on and on, but I really want to talk about this thread right here. Many people are reporting that the gameplay is feeling too slow. This first sentence already set the mood for me when I read this on stream. I was like, that is such a simplification of what is going on. In my opinion, the campaign was the best thing about PoE2. Endgame was extremely, extremely dull, boring, unfinished. As they said, right? People are all over, yeah, early access. I understand, but like the one beacon was that I actually liked the slower gameplay in 0.1, which I'm not supposed to. Those are usually not the reasons I play RPGs. So the fact that this is now also gone, or at least until level 30 when I found out something broken, is just kind of weird. It's just, I don't understand. So this first sentence already summarizes nothing. Huntress-specific concerns. Major concerns about parry. People do not wish to use it. Getting frenzy charges without parry is rough until later, but there are no other early game options that don't involve parrying. They want to give early game solutions to parry. Okay, so first up, this whole discussion about parry. I do not believe that somebody can tell me they have played the game in any capacity and can say that parrying is a useful ability. It is not useful early because everything jumps at you. You just cannot use it. Enemies are jumping on you from all sides. You cannot really reposition. It is very narrow. And like, even if you get that frenzy charge, wow, you got that one hit. It is too clunky. So I dare GGG to find out how good parry really is. Give us a keystone right here. The keystone says 20% more damage if you have a buckler, cannot use parry, right? Good. You made unwavering stance, which makes no sense, really, because you kind of need to dodge roll because the whole game is kind of designed around it. So make one here. If parry is that good, then nobody's going to take it, right? 20% more damage. Cannot parry. I'll make you a deal. 10% more damage after the rework, after you make parry useful. If you don't trust your player base when it comes to parry, put that keystone in, see how many people take it versus how many people don't take it, and get your own results. Their solution is to make a killing palm for Huntress. And I know Chris Wilson always said that players are good at finding problems but not solutions. That's the dev's job. But how about you make Huntress not weird early game. You make it not use parry, not use some killing palm ability. You just make it more vanilla early on so people can get into it, and then the specific things come earlier. You want frenzy charges to be this very hot commodity, so keep that. Keep it for later when, I don't know, maybe our characters are a little bit more decked out, when we don't have 0% movement speed maybe, and everything is faster than us. Maybe then, right? Like, is that really a problem? Does everything have to revolve around frenzy charges exactly from the get-go? But okay, either way, we also want to improve the feeling of parry more generally. It will not change anything. Nobody's using raise. It is just not used. It is simply not used. You cannot use it in this game. The way the game is currently set up, you cannot use it. There is not this meaningful combat where you can stand there and do this and then, ooh, at the right time, I'm going to hit no. Enemies with 70% increased attack speed are going to attack you. In endgame, enemies are surrounding you everywhere in the breach, in a ritual, in expedition. Meaningful combat in an aRPG setting is an illusion. It will not happen. The way to do that is with all other genres that are completely warping how you interact with the game. Moving on. Other bit of feedback is they don't want to enter melee range at all. Once again, if you want to go into melee range on a lot of builds, that is something you have to earn. For example, you have to go Smith of Kitava. You actually have to build defenses. The right side, Ranger, Huntress, it is just not really built for that. Sure, you could say all block, all parry, but once again, we get back to the last point again. While the primary role is to incentivize the hybrid playstyle, we do think we can improve this. No, you cannot, because there is no meaningful combat where you have time to react and like jump from one mob to the other, put on a whirlwind, disengage, and now you assess the situation or anything like that. This is not a round-based gameplay. Not everybody is on their toes at every second. That is not how this game works. People want to slay monsters in different colors, different MTX. They want to get stronger. They want to feel like they're getting stronger. They want to feel like their decisions matter, like the impact of their decisions. And sure, if there's a boss fight in between where there's an arena, right, like a perfectly curated scenario where you can fight a boss, you can exactly adjust the rules of the fight. But when you're out there and you're fighting white mobs, that cannot be more scary than the boss, which it currently is. Maps have different modifiers, different damage, different defenses. They're all different. So you cannot curate an experience like you can in a boss fight. It just does not work. We're going to, so then they buffed Lightning Spear, which, I mean, don't even ask me, whatever. Okay, player minion damage and life. Here I will say I don't have too much experience with minions, but I have people who I know who talk to me about the minion experience, and they have already done the hotfix with more damage. If that's enough, if the minion life is enough, that you'll have to tell me. One thing I was thinking about though is, what is the issue with level scaling in general? So they say here that one of the issues for them was level scaling and they had to tone it down. My first question is why? Like, if I have a weapon-based build, I get a better weapon, I get upgrades, spells, minions, guess what? The higher level it goes, the stronger you get, and that should be meaningful. The reason I'm asking is because I'm going to talk about something I actually know, which is totems, which got completely castrated in endgame. Everybody's talking about Artillery Ballista, how it's really solid at round about level 20, 15 or whatever, which is true. It's all right, right? It's like a button you press, you get a little bit extra damage. In endgame, you cut it and forget it, right? But like Ancestral Warrior Totem and Ballista Totem, these numbers here at the end, on an Ancestral Warrior Totem, this would be triple. This was triple before, right? And on Ballista, where you can reach level 34, the number was like double or more as well. So you disincentivize this like endgame scaling. Why, right? Like, what is the issue with that? Like, isn't that the point where you want enemies to scale? I'll concede here that I don't know. All I know is all of the broken builds last league, I have not heard of a broken minion build. I've heard of good minion builds. For me, everything I looked at is minions are doing what they're supposed to do. I don't really understand what the issue there was. Maybe you can tell me in the comments. Monster life too high. Once again, nobody asked for this. Nobody knows why this happened. Most people have only good things to say about Act 1. Now, if I was just in my Path of Exile 1 bubble and I looked outside of it and I was seeing all the casuals saying, oh my god, Act 1 was way too easy. I wish this game was more Dark Souls-y, then I would have understood all these changes because these are not bugs. These are deliberate. They even talked about it in the interviews. I don't understand. The campaign went from an experience that I like to an experience I don't like, and most people feel. So okay, we're not even going to go through that. They already reduced the HP of some things. Rares are also coming. Okay, this change has also been deployed. All right. Large area sizes. Oh my god. Many players are reporting that areas feel like they're too large. Normally, the main reason is due to other concerns, such as monster life or player damage being incorrect, or lack of entertaining content in the area. No, it is not. I'll tell you the reason right now. This is what you're going to do with checkpoints, right? You're going to add checkpoints every single league instead of fixing the issue. This is how it's going to look like, right? Checkpoint, 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 right? This is at some point what we're going to get to. All right, cool. So here's the issue. In endgame, everything you do in terms of like earning currency, getting loot explosions is going to revolve around what you spec on this tree. Everything. It is not going to be worth it to do a breach unless you're spec'd into breached. It's not going to be worth it to do an essence unless you're spec'd into essence. You specialize. That is how this game works. In endgame as well. This whole thing here encourages that. It gives you agency. It wants you to be able to specialize. It wants you to be able to do one or two types of content. So how is this going to change anything? People want to do content more often. If there's one ritual in the map, and then you have to hunt around and kill all the rares that are in some crevice on the side, that is not fun because this ritual gives you all the currency and these rares are completely meaningless. They are just a time waste. They are a torture. For like a ritual you want to do, breaches you want to do, whatever, that is where the juice is at in endgame. That is where you kind of peak out. So no, people don't want to complete all the rares on your map when in reality, all they're looking for is that one or two thing in your map that you specialize in. All the other stuff is meaningless. You think killing a rare matters in endgame versus getting into your next map? No, it's tedious. It's busy work. There's nothing to be gained here. Just like plastering the map full with mechanics is not going to do anything. Because you cannot specialize in every mechanic, and most of those mechanics are not going to be good, but you gave us agency to decide what we want to farm, but then all you want to do is throw random things in there. It makes no sense to me. So no, reduce the area size, make maps more efficient, make them matter, make them more unique, sure, but don't make them into huge mazes. These are not outliers. There's almost all the maps are like that. They're huge, huge, so much nothingness. You cannot fill it because you specialize. They're not outliers. The maps are not made for what you give us. They're not made for this. Give us more agency. Let us traverse faster. Let us do more volume, whatever we choose to. If you want to make a map longer, we can do that already. The tools are there. There's probably going to be stuff like scarabs in the future. You don't need to make it endless and tedious and never ending. And if you don't hug the wall, you miss a crevice and there's a rare in the crevice and now you have to backtrack or hope there's a checkpoint nearby. But I digress. Crashes and disconnects. I know people are mad about this. I understand. I cannot feel it. I don't feel this kind of stuff. I'm so used to it. I'm trained. I've been training my life to get crashes and disconnects. I've been through the last Epoch release with almost zero bitching. I've been in town. I've done side areas because I couldn't continue the story. I leveled to level 10 and I just waited. I'm used to this. I could not care less. There's so many problems this game has. This is the last thing on my mind right now. Now I want to end the video with a few thoughts. The first one is meaningful combat cannot exist without controlling your environment. There's a lot of random factors. You cannot curate the experience. It's probably not going to happen, and you should not force it with stuff like Parry or whatever. It will not happen. If you want people to press multiple buttons, you need to make every single button after the first one extremely strong. You just nerfed Eye of Winter. Everybody was pressing Eye of Winter. What was the issue there? Nobody's pressing it anymore. Now what do we do? Now we have that offhand, we press Ball Lightning instead. It's the same thing. If you want meaningful combat, you already have it. It's bosses. It is curated. It is an arena. There's no noise coming in from outside, nor mobs. There's nothing. It's just you and the boss. You give it mods, and that is it. That is the experience you're looking for. There it is. And everything else is you're slaying monsters in different varieties. They have different colors. And sure, they're different monsters, and they look great, right? Like, everybody did a great job. PoE2 looks fantastic. In the interview with Mark and Jonathan, one thing I noticed over and over, and other people have noticed over and over, is how Jonathan talks about combos and meaningful combat, and probably we're gonna have to slow it down a little bit. And then Mark talks about, well, but we cannot really nerf everything too much, because then if we try to nerf the top players, they're still gonna be OP because they're gonna find something new, but the people on the bottom are going to be left to dry. So I'm not sure what it is. Is it an internal thing? Is it a vision thing? Is there something going on in terms of, I don't want to theorize here, but I am just worried in total. I am just worried because I was like lukewarm on PoE2 before. I was kind of like, yeah, I like the campaign, the end game is kind of sterile, and now we're back to not even square one, we're back to square 0.5. I'm not a dev. I understand that there are challenges in the game that are not easy to see for us as players, and they still have to be there. Certain buttons have to be there because of weight or whatever, but please think about fun first and aesthetic second. If there are people currently testing the game and going through the campaign and feel like the release 0.2 version was okay, please reconsider who you let these play. That is not a stab at anybody. I'm just saying clearly there's something off. Find out why Path of Exile 2 exists, how it is different from PoE 1, how you can make that better. Making a game more clunky and just slower and more buttons is not what's going to make you better than PoE 1. PoE 1 is something you can look onto for the last 12 years. You've done so many good things in that game, and they are just all getting plucked away over and over, and you're still cherry picking like currency orbs and this and that, but you're not focused. You're not focused on what you want to do with the game. I don't even know what that is. I just know that currently the game feels off. Fun first, practicality second. A motor is worth nothing if it looks good, but it doesn't work. Make the game work first, make it fun for everybody, and then put your weight aesthetics on it. Like, oh, you need to go to a well because you need to refill. Apparently, one well will refill life flasks and mana flasks. Okay, cool. Makes total sense to me. I don't know, whatever you need to sleep at night, but please make it fun first. Make it fun to go through the game. Remember that you're also a grinding game studio that is there to also fulfill the role of people who just want to play a lot. So adding so many buttons and so many annoyances over a day of grinding is just like, it's draining. Please. That's it. Rant over.